Hi, my name's Mrs. Ashby and I'm here to talk to you today about maths mastery because I'm sure you have never been so involved in your child's education as you are now in lockdown and in this coronavirus situation. So, what is teaching for mastery? So it's a way of teaching maths that doesn't just teach the process and the methods. It's about having that really deep understanding of maths and being able to work at depth and work with different contexts, and it's really about making children into problem-solving mathematicians. So it's about stretching their brains in different ways. So it's, for example, they wouldn't just learn the process of column addition with just numbers. They would work with resources first, and we'll come on to resources in a moment. But the reason they would work with resources is to find out why and how the column addition works. And they would be able to solve a range of problems using column addition and using those resources to help them. Also, it's not just about simply finding the answers, and I think this is how maths has changed a lot from when older generations were at school. It's about working through problems and about how you're working. In order to get that deep thinking and to get that real depth, you might be asked to solve questions that actually are quite open-ended, that have more than one answer. You might be asked to do some maths that doesn't necessarily have a right or wrong answer. For example, what's the same, what's different? Those kind of questions. You might be asked to answer questions, but to really explain and reason your answers. So again, not just simply finding the answer, but explaining how you find that answer, how you know it works. And you might be asked to prove your answer, either with pictures or with resources. Again, coming back to resources are a really key part of maths mastery. In order for children to develop their mathematical understanding and to be able to work efficiently with numbers and basically know how to do maths, they would go through a process called concrete, pictorial and abstract. So in the concrete stage, that is where we would expect children to be using resources, physically using them to move, to count with, to physically play with them, to use them to help them solve the maths. Then you would move on to pictorial, so the representation of the maths is no longer something they can pick up physically, but it's something that they can draw, and they can put those markings on paper in order to help them. And then last of all, they need those steps to reach the abstract stage where they can do maths efficiently in their head. So we encourage all pupils to use resources and to then move on to pictorial representation before abstract. This is going to help them become much more confident in their understanding. And if your child, say, has really grasped a concept, they feel really confident, your teacher is probably still going to ask you to use resources, but in a different way, to ask them to prove that they know that answer. They might say, okay, can you prove that's the answer? Can you show me a different way? That leads me on to the 5 big ideas of mastery. Now, I've already touched on some of this, but there are 5 big ideas of mastery. The first one, not in any particular order, but just one of them is representation and structure. So this is about using resources to help expose the mathematical structure. So before using column addition with numbers, they might be shown column addition and work out addition with resources such as base 10 or Numicon. So this is about the child understanding what's actually happening when we, instead of borrow, instead we exchange, and we look at exchanging with the hundreds, tens and ones through resources. That's helping them understand what's actually happening. Mathematical thinking, it's about maths not just being transferred from the teacher to the child. It doesn't just come out of the teacher's head into the child's head. It's not passively taught like that. It's about maths being discussed, about maths being reasoned, about being worked on together. So often collaborative working is encouraged when you're teaching for mastery. Also, lessons have more of a ping-pong approach. So instead of doing the input, I'm teaching you this information, now you do this. It's about, I'm going to show you this, you have a go. Now let's move on to this. Now you have a go. It's about taking the child along with you every step of the way, not just teaching them and off you go. One of the other big ideas is variation. So this is about the teacher showing different representations before moving on. So different contexts, different ways of showing how things work. And then we come on to fluency. Now, this is probably something that a lot of grown-ups feel more comfortable with, because fluency, this is about that quick recall. So still, those times tables, those number bonds, those facts are still really, really important, because knowing the quick recall facts and efficient methods is going to help your child work efficiently. So by efficiently, we mean not using column addition for every single addition question, but actually noticing patterns. If there's a 9 and a 1, it's picking that out and knowing automatically that that's a 10, and they don't actually need to do a column addition because they are spotting the patterns and working efficiently at solving the problem. And the last big idea is about coherence. So this is about lessons and teaching being broken down into small steps that the children can fully understand. So breaking the learning down into really small, connected, purposeful steps that gradually unfold a concept. So it's more like you are learning together, you are discovering together, step by step, as the topic unfolds. So I hope you have a clearer understanding of what maths mastery is. I hope that was helpful. Thank you.